from the Salvation Army National Headquarters, this is the Fight for Good podcast.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Fight for Good podcast. I'm your host, Lieutenant Colonel Tim Foley. We're broadcasting here from National Headquarters in Alexandria, Virginia. To my left is our editorial director, Mr. Jeff McDonald.
Greetings, sir. Great to be with you.
And greetings to you, sir. Always good to be with you. And across from me, in her usual spot, is the assistant to the editorial director, Michele Katsaris. Michele.
Greetings.
You know, we have this long, lengthy introduction and one word, greetings. Hello. And, of course, we cannot forget our producer, Elizabeth. Good to see you today.
Good to see you today.
Well, we're here today to talk a little bit about all kinds of different things, but mainly our March issue. And wonderfully, they have arrived in our offices. And the topic of March is finding joy. Jeff, how do you find joy in your life?
Well, I always follow the axiom, if you force yourself to smile, your heart will follow, which reminds me of my grandfather, who was rather a dour person, and he'd force a smile once in a while and try to have his heart catch up.
Now, Michele, how do you find joy in your life?
I love payday because then I get to go shopping. So every other Friday, that's usually my time of joy.
You do it on the Friday?
Well, it depends. You know, if it's like a half day here, you know, I love those days because I get to go TJ Maxx, no one's there. But if not, no, Saturday. That's my time to shine.
Do you go to Home Depot?
No, I go to Home Goods.
What brings you joy, Elizabeth?
I like miniature golf.
Miniature golf?
Yeah.
Miniature golf.
It's a little seasonal, some can say, but I actually have a miniature golf book at home that I can play book of miniature golf anytime I want. It's a little book.
None of us thought that as something that would be
it's
associated
so fun.
with
Like windmills and things. Rivers.
Okay.
I think it's great. It's a family activity for us, actually. Gets very heated, though, competition. Yeah. What do you do that brings joy to you?
Nothing. Absolutely. Nothing. I do too many things. I do too many things. You know, I actually enjoy, I've talked about it before. I enjoy my trains. I enjoy video. I enjoy video games. I enjoy hanging out with my dog or, all those kind of things and with family and stuff.
Yeah. Just being outdoors in nature does it for me. I mean, I got an app, Sky Watch. Have you seen that?
No.
You hold it up to the sky and it'll tell you what stars you're looking at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the name of that?
Sky Watch, I believe.
Skywatch. I have an app where I can sit at my desk and I can tell you where the planes are going and where they're coming from as they're landing at Reagan.
That's neat too, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of good.
Before we get back to the conversation with Colonel Foley, I just want to take a moment to talk about Peer Magazine. Peer is a Salvation Army youth publication for 16 to 22-year-olds. By addressing topics related to faith, community, and culture, Peer ignites a conversation that deepens biblical perspective, faith, and holy living. Peer is a monthly magazine that comes directly to your mailbox for free almost every month. Just visit peermag.org to subscribe. Again, that's peermag.org.
What are some features in the March issue that our readers should be aware of?
There's so much in this issue, and there's so many profound statements. I think of Hope Wilson's story about finding joy growing up in Uganda, where she lived in a war-torn culture where they had no idea that there would be a future. And so they had to wrestle with that kind of deep void and cynicism and heartbreak. And her ability to grow out of that and to find solace and meaning that offset that in what God provides through his Son is just a remarkable tale. So that's one thing. The other piece that's of interest, and there's a lot in this issue, I must say, that speaks to the...
Well, overall, we're celebrating March as the month of the woman.
It's Women's History Month, correct. And in that vein, we talk about the ARC in Florida that is helping women, empower women who have been either abused or had drug problems or come up from a difficult background, and how they're coming alongside women to help them regain confidence. Also, we have a great interview with Commissioner Heidi Bailey in this issue, who's the Central Territory leader, about her development of leaders in the Salvation Army, both men and women, but particularly drawing on her experience with women to encourage them to find confidence and meaning and identity in Christ and to be themselves. And she talks about the need for change and how she has hopes for that change in the Army, but she'd like to see the mission of the Army advanced while the Army adapts to the new realities.
Michele, what are some things in this March issue that are resonating for you, or you're excited about, or anything you want to tell our listeners about?
Yeah, my favorite is always the millennials. I might be biased, but...
Just a tad bias.
Yeah, but no, I interviewed Tiffany Rogers. She's a Christian blogger, and her story was just really interesting. Especially the biggest thing is that she was born and raised in Mexico, and then she came back to the States for college. And I just thought, I was like, wasn't that kind of a culture shock? Because you were raised in a totally different country, and then at the age 18, you just picked up and moved, not a state, not a city, a whole country away from your family. So she kind of shares that experience and, just what she's gone through ever since she came back to the States.
We're looking for new ideas, and we're looking for ways to kind of cover different topics. And one of the things that Michele was very helpful in teaching you and I was about this whole idea of influencers and vloggers and YouTube folks and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to think about people that are within the Salvation Army that are influencing the world around them. They're not professional influencers per se. That's not their job. That's not their main thing. They're not paid by advertising companies. Well, so we're starting a new series called Influencers, those in a core community and career. And our assistant editor, Major Jason Swain, has been tasked with tracking down all kinds of different people across the country. So we're starting off with a wonderful man, Joey Zumaya, who is the Corps Sergeant Major of the Ventura Corps in Ventura, California. And he is a leader within the social media network LinkedIn, very high within that organization. So it's a one-pager on page 20, and we're asking people basically the same kind of questions throughout it. And my thought here is that we have kind of ordinary people that attend Salvation Army services, or they're they join up with the Salvation Army in some way. I just kind of want to highlight some of these people and how significant the work that they're doing. And Joey is just a wonderful guy. He's coming on the National Advisory Board. He's very active in his community there in Ventura when he's home, because his job takes him all over the country. Just a great guy. Jeff, what are some of the other things that you're wanting our listeners to maybe consider in the March issue of the War Cry?
Well, it's interesting. We have the spiritual formation page on the inside back cover of every issue, and it's really a practical tool for people to, delve a little deeper into their knowledge and devotion to God, and to really use the resources cited there, scripture verses, etc., for their own use in daily devotions.
I think the main thing here, Jeff, is that we're open to ideas. We look at our magazine as fluid. We're changing different looks. We're trying to make all of that kind of stuff subtle. We want our readers to be proud of this magazine. We want them to share it. We hope that the articles that we pick have sustenance for them spiritually. And also, like, the big thing for me is this is a magazine to be shared. This is a magazine that people's lives are literally changed because of what the stories and the opportunity. There's the prayer of salvation and steps to salvation in our magazine now, and all those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, if people were here, they'd see behind the scenes how much work and steps are involved in producing such communication vehicles as a magazine, a website, social media. And at the end of the day, after all that, we put it in God's hands, and we ask Him to direct it where it's needed, and we rely on the power of His Spirit to reach people who are in need. We should point out, too, that we look for creative input, we look for stories from the field. Certainly, there are so many important stories that the Army is involved in at the front lines of ministry. We'd love to hear those stories from our readers. Even if you float an idea to us, we could certainly respond.
Also, if you're interested in contributing, you can go to thewarcry.org and you can click on Contribute, and there you can upload anything that you would like, an article or maybe a poem or something like that. And who knows, we may decide to get your article might fit in. We also leave our themes there. We work off theme ideas for throughout the year, and we're thinking and praying about what our themes will be for next year in 2021. This is a crew here that's learning to work well ahead, and I'll be honest, it's a joy for me to come to work every day, because we have our challenges and problems at times, but there's just an energy on this floor here with our program and publications team that it just excites me.
Oh, it's great people. And Michele and Elizabeth, they bring in a whole new perspective for us, which is most welcome. And we want to convey that to our readers and attract new readers and younger readers and representatives of different generations.
I just hope that, this magazine isn't just something that people just are kind of like, ho hum. It's our ministry. Our hearts are in this, and we hope that it's a tool that can get into your hands and into the hearts of many people as they read it. Well, that's going to end this episode of the Fight for Good podcast. Be sure to subscribe to Fight for Good wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to follow The War Cry and Peer Magazine on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. We hope that you will pick up the most recent issue, The War Cry, March 2020, Finding Joy, Making Room for Something New in Your Life. Well, on behalf of all of us here at National Headquarters, thank you for listening. We hope that you have a super fantastic rest of your day. God bless you.
Subscribe to Fight for Good wherever you listen to podcasts.